We're talking WBC Super Flyweight Champion. And still, Sor Rungvisia. This is the Double RT Boxing Show. I am your host, Mr. A. We're doing post-fight recaps of the main event on Superfly 2. Juan Estrada. He came close, folks. He came close. But the power of Sor Rungvisia won him the fight. I want to say did him in. Won him the fight. The scorecards read 115, 113, 114, 114, 117, 111. Obviously, just hearing those numbers, you might want to say, like, you got two close ones and you got one wide one. Me, myself, I had the fight 115, 113, and I did have it for Estrada. I had Estrada winning 8-12 in rounds 1 and 2. Although I did have round 9 as a swing round, they would have made it a draw. You know, the counters were there all day. The counters were there for Estrada all day. He was allowing. It's funny because the fight switched 3 times. The first 2 rounds, Estrada, sitting back, keeping the distance, and allowed in the breakdown of this fight, I stated that Rungvisia power heavy-handed, but he does miss a lot. And Estrada allowed that to happen. He made him miss, check hook counters, right hand for the first 2 rounds. And then in round 3, you hear the champ's corner like, hey, let him dictate the fight. Let him come in and you counter him. Let him be first. Let him fight. Let him fight. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Let him fight. And from round 3 all the way on, basically all the way on to the end of the fight, it kind of went that way. He allowed Estrada, who is the counter puncher, to lead, throw him off of rhythm a little bit, and he became the counter puncher, the champion that is. Now with his heavy hands, those counter punches were really affecting Estrada. You see his mentally poker face changing. His eyes got getting like, oh man, this is like it's different. And they said in between round 1 and 2, the translator picked up that Estrada went back to his corner saying like, this dude got some serious power, And you could see as the champ switched up that game plan and allowing Estrada to lead, he was landing some not only landing some clean counter punches, but those brick counter punches, and it changed his whole reaction. Like I said, going back and forth, it was a good fight. But what really was taking the control of the fight was Sor Rungvisia. Not only was he starting to land a good left jab, he was aiming it at center chest. So he was just hitting him in the body. Sometimes hitting him in the stomach, hit him high, but mainly just hitting him just right here, hitting him, and scoring and making him feel that power. So, like I said, from him aiming it at the chest, he was able to change the rhythm where he wanted to hit it at the last minute. So Estrada had a hard time blocking that power. And then, the Estrada's corner was like, hey, you're waiting too long for this guy. The corner said what Andre Ward was saying. Like, the only way Estrada could change this fight now is he needs to go in. He's standing on the outside, allowing the champ Sor Rungvisia to extend his full power and allow him to taste his power. Kind of what Andre Ward did to Kovalev. He went in towards the power to smother it. And in round 8, that's what started happening. Estrada just started going forward, took him more chances, and they started fighting back and forth. They were just doing it. And he was still landing he started landing more of the counters that he was landing in the previous rounds. Instead of getting outboxed from round 3 to 7 like he was by the champion, because he's allowing himself to get countered. Now he went straight at him. Still close enough to do his own countering, but also dictate the punches. It was close enough where Rungvisia couldn't counter him. And I said I had him from round 8 to 12 winning every round. Not dominantly, but just landing clean counters, scoring more points, And I said Rungvisia, he was landing some hard. He's a heavy hitter. So every punch looks hard, but to the body work into the head shots and like the straight jabs from Estrada, the counter check hooks, to me it accumulated a lot of punches with the misses that he was making the champ do. Like I said, there was a swing round 9. I gave it to Estrada because I thought he did more points, but it could go both ways. Because round 10, I'm sorry, because that's when Rungvisia, I guess Estrada seemed like he got a little tired doing round 8 and 9 to come back, and Rungvisia is like, dude, I'm losing. I'm starting to get losing. He can't, like, he got a second little win, like aggressiveness, like, hey, I'm getting boxed off pretty good here. So he started throwing some harder shots to the chest again. So that one was a swing round, but I still had Estrada counter hooking him, landing the straight rights. This was a good job on referee Jack Reese, because this was a bad fight of just tripping. These guys tripped over each other's legs about 3-4 times. The way they were just taking the lunging at each other. This guy's foot, not just feet, leg trips. Like they were actually like leg behind his leg in front of his leg. They were like tripping over legs, and everything was called a trip. Like I said, I had Estrada winning, but if you give the swing round to the champion, it's a 114-114 draw on my card. Either way, Estrada wins or it's a draw, according to my scorecard with the swing round. But that being said, Sor Rungvisia, he looked even better than he did than the Chocolatito fight. He, like I said, the ability to step back and throw some counters, whereas in Chocolatito he was just a come forward power machine. So will it be a rematch? I don't know. Probably not right away. Estrada took a pretty good hit from he was getting hit pretty hard. Now, obviously, the next in line within the next 2 fights is going to be McWilliams-Roy with that silver title. Now, interesting to see can McWilliams fight that same fight, but we'll talk about that on the whole card review. This is the Double RT Boxing Show. I am your host, Mr.A. This is the post-fight recap, and still champion, the WBC Super Flyweight champion, Sor Rungvisia, gets a majority decision over Juan Estrada. Now, before we go, please give a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. And one last question I'm asking people, the audience, how would you want to see the show now? Would you want post-fight recaps broken down into each little segment for each fight? Or would you want the post-fight as a whole, just with timestamps, so you could go all around, see what fight you want to see? But I prefer you watch the whole fight. Leave a comment down below. This is Mr. A. Please subscribe. The Double RT Boxing Show.